Hi, welcome once again to M5's English language learning program, Let's Speak English. I'm Gav Duncan and I'm here on your TV to help you learn English. Now, are you sitting comfortably? Yes? Good. And are you ready for today's lesson? Yes? Good. Okay, well, let's learn English together. And hello, everyone. And hello, Nigel, of course. How are you all? Fine? Good. And what about you, Nigel? Are you having fun today? Great! So everything's going well then. Gusti is dancing his famous mad chicken dance. Margot, the cat, is meditating, or maybe she's sleeping. It's difficult to tell. And Nigel is chilling out, relaxing, as only a remarkably hairy guinea pig can. Okay, so the animals are all ready. What about you? All of you chickens of the forest, are you all ready? And what about the gods of English? Yes, the members of the blue team. Are you all ready? You are? So the chickens of the forest are ready and the gods of English are also ready. Great. Well, in that case, what are we waiting for? That's right. We're not waiting for anything. Hold on to your pants because here we go. Okay, so far this week, what have we been looking at? That's right. This week we met a new tense, didn't we? Yes. This week we met the past continuous tense. A tense we use to talk about something that was happening before and after a time in the past. When the television repairman arrived, they were looking at the radio. Now, we looked at the form of the past continuous, didn't we? And we discovered that it's not very difficult, is it? To make the past continuous tense, we need the verb to be in the past simple form. And then we add ing to the end of the main verb we're using. So we have to remember the past simple form of the verb to be. But that's not very difficult now, is it? No. I mean, there are only two forms, was and were. We use was for the first person singular, I, and the third person singular, he, she, and it. We use were for all the other subject forms, you, we, you, and they. I think it's time for a table, don't you? Mabel, Mabel, you're a frog with a heart. So please do us a favor and show us that in a chart. Okay, great. So we know which form to use with which subject. And it's simple, isn't it? Yes, if we're talking about the first person singular or the third person singular, then we use the form was. If we're talking about any of the other subjects, you, we, you, or they, then we use were. Good. Okay, now we know that this is just part of the past continuous, because we have to add a main verb as well, don't we? Yes, that's right. We have to add a verb, and then we have to add ing to the end of that verb. Now, we all know that this leads to small problems with spelling. But, as I said, these are small problems. They're not problems that can scare us. Okay, so let's run through the main rules that we have to be aware of when we add ing to the end of a verb, shall we? All right. First things first. If the verb ends in an E, then we have to remove the E before we add ing. So, if the verb we're using in the sentence is the verb to make, for example, then we remove the E and then add the ing. All right, so that's the first thing that we have to be careful with. If there's an E at the end of the infinitive, remove it before adding ing. Okay, so what's the next thing we need to take care with? Well, the next spelling problem area is connected to our old friends, the vowels and the consonants. And we all remember them, don't we? Yes. So the vowels are a group of 5 letters: A, E, I, O, and U. The consonants are all the other 21 letters of the alphabet. Z, Y, X, W, V, T, S, R, Q, P, N, M, L, K, J, H, G, F, D, C, B, and that's it. Okay, now who remembers why the vowels and consonants are so important when we're talking about spelling? That's right. It's all to do with the combinations of vowels and consonants at the end of the verb, isn't it? If the verb ends in a vowel plus consonant, like the verb to swim, for example, then we have to double the last letter when we add the ing. So, although the infinitive is swim, when we want to make the present continuous, for example, we have to double the last letter before we add ing. I am swimming. Now, just the same as the present continuous tense, when we put the verb to swim into the past continuous tense, we have to do the same thing. We have to double the last letter before we add ing. I was swimming. Great! Groovy! Granny Duncan! Now, with other combinations, we don't double the last letter. If, for example, the verb ends in consonant plus consonant, like the verb to work, then when we want to use it in the present continuous or in the past continuous, we just add ing. We don't have to worry about doubling the last letter. I am working, present continuous. I was working, past continuous. Now, in that last example, you probably also noticed a slight difference between the present and past continuous tenses. Yes, that's right. In English, we always love the abbreviated version, the short version. So in the first example, I abbreviated the form. I didn't say I am, I shortened it and said I'm. But we can't do that in the past continuous, can we? No. We can't abbreviate I was. It would sound awful. So when we're conjugating the past continuous, we have to use the full, long version. I was, you were, he was, she was, it was, we were, you were, they were. Okay, but when we look at the continuous part of the verb, it's the same, isn't it? Yes. We add ing to the infinitive work and we get working. We don't have to remove any letters and we don't have to double any letters either. No, we just have to add ing. Simple. All right, so on we go. The situation is the same if the verb ends in two vowels and a consonant, like the verb to wait. I am waiting, present continuous. I was waiting, past continuous. So, another different combination of letters at the end of the verb, and once again, we don't have to worry about doubling the last letter or removing any letters. Hooray! Now, the next category is a bit of an odd one, but we saw this earlier too, when we looked at the idea of stress. Now, as I'm sure you all remember, there are two types of stress. One is the sort of stress that can give you a heart attack when you can't get to work on time. That's why you should take magnesium. The other type of stress is the one we're talking about here. It's a synonym for highlight or underline. Think about when you're typing on your computer, when you're writing a letter, for example. There are some icons at the top of the page, things that you can use to draw someone's attention to something you wrote. When you use one of these tools, when you make the text bold, when you write in italics, when you underline something, when you highlight something, then you are stressing that part of what you're writing. You're drawing people's attention to that part, or that word, or whatever. Now, we have the same idea in spoken language. Hungarian is very simple when we're talking about stress. In every Hungarian word, the stress falls on the first syllable. Syllable. You all remember syllables, don't you? That's right. Syllables are sounds in a word. Hord mezu vashar hey. 6 syllables. 6 sounds in one word. And because it's a Hungarian word, we know how to pronounce it with the stress in the correct place, on the first syllable. Hord mezer vashar hey. Hord mezu vashar hey. Hord mezu vashar hey. Hord mezer vashar hey. Hord mezer vashar hey. Hord mezer vashar hey. Okay. So, because it's a Hungarian word, we know where the stress falls. But in English, it's not so simple. In English, the stress can be anywhere in a word, which means we have to use a dictionary to check where the stress falls in a word. In English, it's only easy to know where the stress is in a word if the word has got one syllable. Slug, snail, whale. Okay, see? Those are easy. But with other words, words with more than one syllable, then we sometimes have to look in a dictionary to find out where to put the stress on a word. Octopus, piglet, rhinoceros. Now, with these 3 words, we can use the dictionary to learn how to pronounce the word correctly. For a start, we can see the word written in phonetic symbols which tell us which sounds to make. But we can talk about that another time. Right now, I'd just like to draw your attention to the small apostrophe in the dictionary entry. In octopus, we can see that the apostrophe comes before the first syllable, which tells us that the stress in the word is on the first syllable. It's pronounced octopus. Not octopus and not octopus. Now, when we look at the second word, piglet, we can see the same thing. The apostrophe is in front of the first syllable, which tells us that the stress is on the first syllable. Piglet, not piglet. Now, those 2 were easy. But what about the third word? Well, there it's a 4-syllable word, but the apostrophe shows us that the stress comes on the second syllable. Rhinoceros, not rhinoceros, not rhinoceros, and not rhinoceros. Of course, the stupid thing with rhinoceros is the fact that everyone normally says rhino. And when we abbreviate the word, the stress moves from the second syllable to the first. Welcome to English. Leave your logic at the door. Rhinoceros, but rhino. Oh, and good Gordon Highlanders, we're almost out of time. Knackers. Okay, well, there's just enough time to remind you about the last group of spellings. If the verb ends in Y or W, if the verb ends in a vowel plus Y or a vowel plus W, then we don't double the last letter. So it's snowing, not snowing. And it was snowing, not snowing. I'm enjoying myself, not enjoying myself. And I was enjoying myself, not enjoying myself. And that's all the time we've got for today's lesson. Yes, our time is up. The lesson has come to an end. And all that's left is for me to say goodbye. Goodbye! Okay, people, relax, have fun, have some more coffee, and I'll see you again tomorrow, where I'll finish telling you about the connection between the stress on a word and what we do with the end of the word when we add ing. Until then, if you need more English, you all know where to go, don't you? Yes, get onto the internet and head to www.m5tv.hu. That's the place where you can find our videos and vocabulary lists. Right, I'm off. Have fun. See you later. Bye.